Hello my lovely nestlings and welcome to today's video. We're going to try out a bunch of new things and some things for the second or maybe third time. I have quite a lot of fun things. I have the new brushes from Cosmic Brushes. I have an all purple palette. I cannot wait. I have a new eye base from Glam Shop. I have a bunch of, oh yes, and I have a new powder from KIKO Milano. So that is what we're going to try today. And if you're new, welcome. My name is Nikki. I'm from the Netherlands, hence the accent. I'm also slightly orcish, relatively vintage. I love spooky stuff, makeup and being creative. Yes, on that note, you see this there. I made that. I have an art channel as well. That is linked down below in the description box. Go check it out if you love stuff like that. At least. Yes, let me also explain some things. The slightly orcish means that I'm green. Yes, I'm a light to light medium warm-ish olive, and the relatively vintage means I'm 46. But you could probably tell, right? I have done my skincare and that is kind of it. Yes, that is kind of it. So I have a bunch of stuff here to try out, and I'm just going to start with foundation, I think. Yeah, so the foundation that I'm kind of been trying a little bit is the new one from Glam Shop. This is in the shade Olive 1.75 and I think this is their illuminating, yeah, this is their illuminating foundation. I've actually been trying this for a few days and I'm very much enjoying it. I think that the color is, pretty close for me right now. And this gives an illuminating finish without making my face look like a glitter ball. And I also feel that it does not emphasize any texture that I have a lot, which for me a lot of the time illuminating foundations do that. I can use this with a brush, I can use it with a sponge. As you see, my sponge is kind of dry-ish though, because I just did not feel like getting up and wetting the sponge. Oh, I should also have zoomed you in a little. Let's do that. So here it's on. It's not a very full coverage. Maybe it's a medium coverage and there's still things shining through, which I'm completely fine with. I can build it up though. I actually prefer to use a brush or my fingers for that. It's a little bit too much. But you can. I'm just basically going to tap it in with my fingers. Okay, let's add some concealer. I hope my lighting is okay. I have actually been, as per usual, changing up my setting a little bit. I'm always trying to have the best picture and not necessarily the highest quality per se, you know, 4K or something like that, but I want to have the colors as true to life as I can get them, so I'm always kind of changing my setup up. I've also been taking kind of a course in my editing software, which is DaVinci Resolve. I just took a beginner's course. I've been using this program for 4 years. I took a beginner's course and I was like, I didn't know you can do that. So yes, I learned heaps. The downside is, because I then get that hyper focus, I'm behind with editing. So that is kind of a shame, but it is what it is. Okay, let me put a pencil in my brow. That's not new, but I'm going to use it anyway. I'm just creating a little bit of shadow. Then I'm actually going to go to the newest. I bought another eyebrow pencil. Yes, I hear you say, but you just declutter them. Yes, true. But in that video I also mentioned that the one from NYX that I used, the Lift and Snatch, I have in grey brown and I wanted to try a black, and here I have the black. So I am going to use that. I have been using this for a few days and I really enjoy it. It's not very black though. Which I actually like, because I don't need black eyebrows. Just need darker eyebrows. Apparently today I forgot how to do my eyebrows, which is interesting. Something like that. Okay, let's use powder. And I have actually a new powder from KIKO Milano. Now, in my declutter of my base products, I mentioned the Waterflower Magic Perfecting Powder that I have from KIKO that I love with a passion. But mine is broken. And when I was in the KIKO store, they did not really have an exact replacement. I saw it on the side though. They have, at least here for us in the Netherlands, have a perfecting powder on the side from a previous line. But the one that I got now is the Universal Veil Finishing Powder. And I don't actually know if it's the same. I don't think so. They don't feel the same. But it looks pretty. So I'm going to use that. And I know it's a finishing powder, but you can still use a finishing powder to set your makeup as well. And this one is from their permanent line, but when I checked it, the USA site, I couldn't find it. So I don't know what KIKO is doing. They also have an illuminating one. This is not that one though. I'm just going to set, and apparently I'm forgetting cream products, but that is okay. I used this one yesterday with my House Labs foundation and it's very pretty as well. But because it's a finishing powder, it has a slight sheen to it. So it's not an extremely matte powder. I'm going to add bronzer. Now what is a finishing powder used for usually? I'm kind of putting on a little bit of bronzer a little bit more heavily for me. Because what a finishing powder usually is used for is to buff stuff like that out. I'm going to leave it right now. It's going to be fine, I hope. I'm going to go next to a highlighter. Because I can, and it's from iHeart Revolution. It's the Gingy highlighter. Now it's probably going to be way too dark for me, but I'm kind of going to use it as a blush or something. So let's see what it does. I'm using it lightly though. Yeah, okay. Didn't think it looks that bad. Maybe I'm mistaken. Let's kind of buff it a bit. Oh, let's also put it on the nose because we can. I feel very glowy. So what do I do then is that if you want to finish, if you use a finishing powder, this is basically the time to use it. So you just go into the finishing powder and buff it over. And that way you kind of tone down everything a little bit. I do like the way that this is looking though, so that is good. Okay, so those were the kind of base products. Next, I'm going to go to eye primer, and the eye primer that I'm going to use today is from Glam Shop, and it is their eyeshadow base. They have a shimmer primer and they have an eyeshadow base, and this is the eyeshadow base. And as you can see, it's very light, but it's also green, and I love that a lot. So I'm just going to put a little on, get a brush and tap it out. It's a little bit too much, for me at least, and I'm going to tap it in with my fingers in a little. Just spreading it out with the brush first, and then I tap over it with my fingers. If I have long nails, this is a little bit more difficult, but then I usually use a sponge. So when I tap it out, is it light? Yes, it's light, but at least it's green. Like me. Let's let this sit and let me show you the brushes that I'm going to use today. So we have a bunch of different brushes. This is the brush set from Cosmic Brushes. So these are called Faux Natural brushes, if I'm not mistaken. They're vegan and cruelty free. So the number one, see, the CB1 is actually the biggest one. Then number two, it's like a very big pencil brush, almost. Then we have the number 3. It's kind of a detailed brush, but a little bit detailed blending brush, but a little bit stiffer, if that makes any sense. I'll show you in a bit. Then we have the number 4, which is a very small flimsy brush. I love brushes like that. Then we have the number 5, which is a very small pencil brush. The number 6 is a very small flat, I think it's a definer brush that I call it. And then number 7 is very much a flat brush that you can use for your lower lash line or eyeliner or whatever. For reference, the biggest brush, so the CB1 from Cosmic Brushes, I can kind of show you against two from refer that I still have here. So this one is the refer number 15 and this one is the 14. So it's kind of size-wise smack in the middle between those two. Then the palette that I'm going to use is Smash the Patriarchy from V Cosmetics. This is an all purple palette. It has different undertones and I just really want to play with this. So that's what I'm going to do today. Do I know what yet? No. I have no idea. So that is interesting.
Eventually.
I think I'm going to start with the shade You Are. And what she has is the shade names are all forming a sentence, which is very, very cute. Now, purples are also hard to formulate, so I'm interested to see how this formula is. Let's step out the creasing a little bit. And just place that shade as a transition shade. So I'm just looking down and I have tapped off my brush and I'm just going to tap it on to basically set my eyeshadow base. It picks up the shadow perfectly. And what I like about this size actually is that for me it's basically the perfect size for a transition shade brush. Does that make sense? I kind of hope so, but it blends beautifully. It's a little bit more blue in real life than it is on camera, so apparently my settings are not correct. I don't know. Sometimes it's just so difficult. Okay, I'm actually going to go to the very flimsy one. This is called the number 4 with kind of the same color. I have to be a little bit careful because this brush, because it's open, picks up a lot, but it also can kind of create fallout. I'm going to use this underneath. And I'm kind of going in a little bit slow because I don't want any fallout. And you want to do stuff like this with your eyes relaxed. So, because here I kind of was like this a little bit. And you can kind of see when I'm doing my resting bitch face, it's kind of like this hangs a little bit more. So I can do two things, either clean it up or fill it in. We're going to fill it in today. I am going to grab a different brush, one that is a little bit more fluffy, to just lightly go over this to blend those two layers together a little bit more. Okay, then I'm going to go to the brush number 3 and the shade A Divine, which is that one. And again, a little bit more lightly, so I'm just tapping it on the shade, tapping off the brush. That's going to go in the crease. This is a very nice brush for packing on. I can also blend with this, but then you're a little bit more precise because the brush is a little bit stiffer at the tip. Okay, then I'm going to go to the darkest matte that we have here, which is Cosmic Force. And I am actually going to use that kind of open flimsy brush, but I'm going to tap it off well, because this little one picks up a lot of product. Okay, let's go back to the previous brush that I was using with the same shade that I'm using now. I am going to go to the shade And Loved, that one, with the smallest pencil brush in this set, which is the CB5. Tap off, and I'm going to put that here. I thought that was a little bit too red on my skin, but it's actually very, very pretty. So for FALSIES, I'm going to grab that shade with kind of an open fluffy brush if I can find it. It's a very weird brush, but this is actually the brush that I'm looking for. This is from one of the sets from Nabla, and I'm going to go to the shade that I've just used, which is the shade And Loved. This brush picks up a lot of product, so I'm going to tap it off. And I'm going to run that over here, where I blend it, to change the tone of the purple, so that it matches that part. Okay, it's shimmer time, so let me grab my shimmer primer. So a little bit on the back of my hand, work my brush in, and then I'm going to tap that on. Okay, drying my brush a little bit, and then I'm going to go to the purple shimmer. So I'm going to use these three here. So let's start with the shade called Strong, which is the lightest one. That's a very, very pretty shimmer. It's not as intensely foiled or anything, but it's just very, very pretty. Then I'm going to go to the shade Powerful, which is next to it, which is one shade darker, just with the backside of this brush. It's going to go a little below. It's also very, very pretty. Now I have more darker shimmers like this, but the formula is very smooth. I think it's very pretty. Then for the outer corner, I'm grabbing another brush and I'm going to go to the shade Patriarchy, which is actually the darkest. No, god damn it. Don't take your name. Which is this one. I'm going to go to that one. It looks so much more pink on camera, which is annoying. And this is going to go in the outer eye part area, outer corner. Probably going to create some fallout with this brush, but that's okay. Okay, then I'm going to go back to the previous brush and then have a little bit of the light pink and the mid-tone pink that I used, and just with the light kind of swipe it back a little bit and down, and then with the other one tap over it a little to get everything to mix nicely. Then I'm going to go to, I don't know, a blending brush, and I'm just going to blend the crease. Let's also put a little bit of the shimmers underneath my eye, so I'm going to go to the glitter primer again. Okay, so for that part I'm going to go to the shimmer called Powerful, which is the center one that I have in the center of my eye. Because it's almost, it has the same kind of reddish base shade almost for me. Making a mess. I'm going to go back to that matte shade and Loved because I'm making very much a mess. I want a little bit of that red back or that pink. I'll fix it later. And then I'm going to go to the shade The, which is the other shimmer in the palette. I should have done my eyes first, shouldn't I? I'm going to go for the inner corner highlight to the Chaos palette from V Cosmetics. This was part of the mystery box. But the shadows in here, they're so pretty. They're topper shades and stunning. So let me get a pencil brush. And I think I'm going to go to this purpley shade. I don't have names, but I think I'm going to go to this one because I really want to keep it monochromatic today. And also here, because hopefully it will bring a little bit of that pink back that I kind of was missing now in the inner corner. It helps a hint, but not a lot. It's okay. That was the color I should have gotten. So I'm actually going to this center shade. Because it has a little bit more of the blue. Why am I itchy? I'm going to go to an eye pencil. She sent me all the Lilith eye pencils, but the one that I want to try today is the purple one because I want to keep it monochromatic. So this is the shade number, I have no idea. It's the purple. She only has one purple. It's going to go in my waterline. After this is on, I'm going to finish off the look. Put on falsies and the like, so I'll be right back. I tight-lined with the V Cosmetics pencil in black. It's the same pencil as the purple that I have in my waterline, but then the black one. Falsies are from Unearthly Cosmetics, and the lippy that I picked is also new. It's just a tint from Colourpop in the shade Cherry Pickin'. I don't really know if it kind of goes with the ensemble, but I really do enjoy the formula. So And I thought, let's chuck that one on as well. Let's kind of go over everything that I used today. So let's start with the foundation. The foundation I think looks very, very pretty. Still kind of trying it out, but so far I really do enjoy it. It looks maybe a hint more luminous than I kind of go for, at least on camera. But outside it looks very nice, and I can always mattify it down with a little bit of more mattifying powder. So let's then go over the powder. I really think that it is a very beautiful powder. What I noticed though, if I swatch this one versus the Waterflower Magic one, the Waterflower Magic feels very smooth. This one feels, the texture is rough, so it's textured. So it is a different powder, but I think that the powder looks very, very pretty. And I'm going to keep on trying this, but as a finishing powder, yeah. I showed you how to use a finishing powder, right? So I'm going to try that as well, just setting my face with one powder and then using this to finish it off. Let me know if you have this one though. Then I'm going to go to, what do I do then? Oh yeah, the Gingy highlighter. It actually kind of works, doesn't it? For me it's very much a shimmery blush. Will I use it often? Probably not. Because it's not really a color that I go for. But on the other hand, I do think it's pretty. Next I'm going to go to the eyeshadow base. That I have been using the eyeshadow base for a few days and I really, really do enjoy it. It gives me a nice blendability. Sometimes I do feel that maybe it doesn't grip the shadows as much as I would like to. But yeah, it's nice and it's green. So I'm happy about that. It gives me everything. I think I wish that I had a little bit more grip. But that's also the nature of the eyeshadow base, right? This is kind of like almost that concealer consistency, but then way thinner. Or a thin consistency, but more like a concealer. That's how I kind of describe them in my mind a little bit. But I do really enjoy it, and you get a crap ton, so very nice. Then let's go to the brushes. I used all of them except this one. Well, this one I didn't use today, but I used it yesterday. I still haven't used this one yet. This is the only one that I'm not really sure about just yet. This is more for packing on, and it's not really how I work usually, but I'm going to try this as well. Basically, what I've noticed, yesterday I kind of compared it with my Refer brushes, and they kind of picked up similarly. Now, they are faux natural, and there is always a difference in synthetic and real hair, but there's also a difference in quality. So you can have real hair brushes with crap quality, like some brushes I know from Morphe, for instance, that were nice when I got them, but then I washed them twice and I could basically throw them away because they poked my eyeballs. So there's a difference in quality there as well. So far, I like the shapes a lot. They feel very nice and soft. They pick up product nicely, and I am going to keep on trying them. But if you see these, I don't think that you'll be very, very disappointed, at least. They came in a nice velvety bag as well. I'm going to play with them a little bit more. Yes, then the palette Smash the Patriarchy. I think that the palette performed very, very nicely. Very nicely, is that the correct term? It looks more pink on camera than it does in real life, because for me this one is a little bit more toned down, and it has to do with the settings in my camera, and I don't know how to get it correct. I'm so sorry. I can only kind of explain what the shades are looking like. So they are a little bit more blue toned. This one is a little bit more, is a hint darker, and this one is a little bit darker as well, almost. I don't know, but I think that the quality is very, very nice. I used all the shades except this one. This is the only shade that I didn't use, which is a little bit more like a satin finish. Still pretty though, but they blend it very nicely. They are not patchy for me, and the shimmers are also very, very stunning. So even though these are more your traditional shimmers, you can kind of see what is happening on my lid, right? You still have that shininess, which I love, especially in a dark shimmer. Now in a darker shimmer, they're usually very, very sticky, and these are not, but they're still very, very pretty. Even though they kind of look a little bit lackluster on my finger, they're still very, very pretty on the lids, and I think that's it. I really wanted to play with this one. So let me know if you're excited. If you want this, I will link it down below. You can use my code RAVEN to save 10%. Code is affiliated. This one is sold separately. And then the other, basically the little highlight palette that I used, is from her mystery box. And I actually don't know if she has stuff like this on her regular site. I'll have to check. But I love this. Just a small topper palette that I can grab for inner corner shades. And I think it's very, very pretty. But yeah, let me know if you have any of these. Let me know if there are some favorites or... Oh, of that. Yes. I think that was it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to wish you a fantastic day, a fabulous evening. Before you go, don't forget to check out my art channel. And also, if you are still here, leave me... Do we have a gingerbread emoji? I don't know, the gingerbread or purple. One or the other. And then, yeah, I'm going to wish you a fantastic day, fabulous evening. May your foundation always match your neck. And I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye, guys.